Section 8, Unit 1. When you're finished washing the dishes, you can take a break. Whenever you find that you are getting angry, take a deep breath before you speak. Part 1. Brenda took a shower while her baby was asleep. I go to visit my aunt whenever I'm in town. When you grow up, you will know how hard it is to make a living. You will know how hard it is to make a living when you grow up. Part 2. I took up playing the violin when I was 8 years old. Peter listened to the radio while he was driving. Peter listened to the radio as he was driving. Karen should seize the opportunity to see a Broadway show while she's in New York City. Part 3. The computer had a habit of crashing every time I tried to download something. The computer had a habit of crashing each time I tried to download something. The computer had a habit of crashing whenever I tried to download something.
Section 8, Unit 2. It's no use locking the stable door after the horse has bolted. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. Part 1. After he had retired, Ben moved to a cabin by a lake and lived a quiet life. 3 months after the accident, Sarah recovered her ability to walk. I stocked up on bottled water and canned foods before the typhoon hit. Part 2. I have lived in Taipei since I was 5 years old. I have been working on this big project since last month. Mark was once a good skier, but he has since given up the sport because of his injury. Part 3. I will already be in Paris by the time you receive this letter. The poet had already gone blind by the time he wrote his greatest poem. There were no seats available at the restaurant by the time I got there. Part 4. If you finish your test early, please remain in your seat until the bell rings. Greg worked on his paper until lunchtime. You're not going to leave the table until you finish all your food. Further learning. Part 1. It will be about 3 weeks before the furniture I ordered is delivered. Be patient. It won't be long before we arrive at the amusement park. It was not long before Larry married the girl he was dating. Further learning. Part 2. It has been 2 months since Ken saw his parents. It is 2 months since Ken saw his parents. Further learning. Part 3. Janet didn't find out that she passed the test until Thursday. Not until Thursday did Janet find out that she passed the test. Tim won't take a break until the work is finished. Not until the work is finished will Tim take a break.
Section 8, Unit 3. The party can start once Julia arrives with the birthday cake. As soon as the firefighters heard the explosion, they rushed to the scene. Sue began doing her homework the moment she got home. Part 1. Once the room is painted, you can move the furniture back in. Immediately after the room is painted, you can move the furniture back in. As soon as I heard the good news, I called my best friend. The moment that I heard the good news, I called my best friend. The moment when I heard the good news, I called my best friend. As soon as I opened the door, I saw a cockroach run under the coffee table. Upon opening the door, I saw a cockroach run under the coffee table. Further learning. Part 1. No sooner had the bell rung than students began pouring out of the classroom. Scarcely had the bell rung before students began pouring out of the classroom. The movie had hardly started when the power went out in the theater. Hardly had the movie started when the power went out in the theater.
Section 8, Unit 4. Steve bought a book so that he would have something to read on the train. We didn't tell Roger what happened for fear that he would get angry. In case it starts to rain, I'll have my umbrella with me. Part 1. You need to stretch your muscles before working out so that you don't get hurt. Mike drives to work in the early morning in order that he can avoid being caught in the daily traffic jam. Mike drives to work in the early morning in order to avoid being caught in the daily traffic jam. Part 2. Let's not talk about the past, lest we should stir up any bad memories. Let's not talk about the past for fear that we might stir up any bad memories. Part 3. Bring a bottle of water in case you get thirsty in the car. I bought an umbrella in case it might rain. Give me a call in case you're not coming. Further learning. Part 1. Julie wouldn't go near the edge of the roof for fear that she would fall. Julie wouldn't go near the edge of the roof for fear of falling. We can use my umbrella in case it should rain. We can use my umbrella in case of rain. Further learning. Part 2. We should take an umbrella just in case. Bring a jacket just in case it gets cold later.
Section 8, Unit 5. Connor is stressed because his job is too demanding. Now that Emma is older, she's no longer afraid to sleep in the dark. I didn't do anything wrong, so my conscience is clear. Part 1. Because the teacher didn't give them any homework today, the children are happy. The children are happy because the teacher didn't give them any homework today. Since we are going to the concert downtown, we might as well go out for dinner before it starts. Now that we are going to the concert downtown, we might as well go out for dinner before it starts. Seeing that we are going to the concert downtown, we might as well go out for dinner before it starts. Sales have begun to step up now that the store has changed its location. Soda is not healthy as it has a lot of sugar. Part 2. Because of her broken finger, Rita is having trouble writing. On account of her broken finger, Rita is having trouble writing. Due to her broken finger, Rita is having trouble writing. In light of the increasing crime, the city has hired more police officers. In view of the increasing crime, the city has hired more police officers. Given the increase in crime, the city has hired more police officers. The game was put off owing to the rain. Thanks to Laura's help, we were able to bathe all of the dogs today. The plane's delay was due to bad weather. Part 3. The fog on the lake was very thick, so that we couldn't see the opposite shore. We left the lights on in our house so that our friends would know we were home. Further learning. Part 1. I didn't bring a coat with me, and as a result, I felt cold all night. As a result of the new advertisement, the store's sales began to grow.
Section 8, Unit 6. Although the movie was extremely long, it was still fun to watch. Though the movie was extremely long, it was still fun to watch. While the movie was extremely long, it was still fun to watch. Karen has a great sense of humor and loves to laugh, while Susan is rather serious and quiet. Part 1. Though I am tired, I can stay to help clean up the place. Although I am tired, I can stay to help clean up the place. While I am tired, I can stay to help clean up the place. I had a happy childhood, though it feels like a very long time ago now. I had a happy childhood, although it feels like a very long time ago now. Part 2. Mary completed all of her work on time, even though she arrived late. Even if you leave now, you'll still be late for school. Part 3. No matter when I try to talk to Curtis, he's busy sending text messages. Whenever I try to talk to Curtis, he's busy sending text messages. No matter how hard he tries, Jimmy can't whistle. However hard he tries, Jimmy can't whistle. Part 4. I always carry an umbrella, whether it is cloudy or sunny. Whether I like it or not, I must stay home and study this weekend. Whether or not I like it, I must stay home and study this weekend. Part 5. Jason left the party early, while I stayed until very late. Jason left the party early, whereas I stayed until very late.
Section 8, Unit 7. If you can't beat them, join them. I think we should go see a movie this afternoon, unless you have a better idea. Part 1. You should wear comfortable shoes, especially if you plan on walking a lot today. I don't mind cleaning the house as long as I don't have to scrub the floor. I don't mind cleaning the house so long as I don't have to scrub the floor. Provided that the train is on time, we should be home before dinner. Providing that the train is on time, we should be home before dinner. I'll help you clean your yard on condition that you buy me lunch when we're done. Wilbur says he will build the doghouse for me only if I help him. Where will you go tomorrow, supposing you get the day off? Part 2. You won't get better unless you practice. I'll take that last slice of pizza unless you're going to eat it. I'll take that last slice of pizza if you're not going to eat it. Suppose you fail the test. How will you tell your parents? Suppose you won $1 million. What would you do?
Section 8, Unit 8. Sometimes I feel as if no one in the world understands me. Sometimes I feel as though no one in the world understands me. The man treats his employees as if they were his slaves. The man treats his employees as though they were his slaves. After hearing his girlfriend say that she wanted to break up, Jack felt as if he had been punched in the stomach. Part 1. George looked as if he wanted to say something, but didn't know where to start. Albert looks as if he hasn't slept in days. Part 2. Always smiling and whistling, John acts as if he didn't have a care in the world. Barbara talks to me as if we were best friends, but I met her only a few days ago. Nick's face turned white as if he had seen a ghost. Jack acts as if nothing had happened. Part 3. The man raised his hand as if he were saying, "Be quiet." The man raised his hand as if to say, "Be quiet."
Section 8, Unit 9. Liberty is to the collective body what health is to every individual body. Part 1. A pen is to a writer as a paintbrush is to a painter. A pen is to a writer what a paintbrush is to a painter. Fertilizer is to plants as nutrition is to people. Fertilizer is to plants what nutrition is to people. Part 2. Knowledge is to the mind what food is to the body. What food is to the body, knowledge is to the mind. Just as food is to the body, so is knowledge to the mind. Just as food is to the body, so knowledge is to the mind.